DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's show where we talk NAMM. We're going to talk NAMM. We're going to look at some stuff that you guys haven't seen yet. And you know, I'm missing not hearing my voice. I've had some of you who do radio work and you're like, you know, when you can't hear your own voice, it's kind of weird. And I didn't know what you were talking about until just this moment. And now I know. I've gotten so used to hearing myself when it comes to the show. So, hey, thank you for joining us. If you're joining us out on Facebook or YouTube, thank you for being out there. I'm going to try to follow the chats a little bit. It's going to be very difficult to do because I'm kind of doing this by myself. It's going to be kind of a quicker show because I'm going to run through some of the footage and such that I shot at NAMM. Some of it you've already seen if you follow the Instagram channel. If you don't, well, you're a bad person. You need to follow the Instagram channel. But we've put some of this up, and some of it will be new to you tonight. So, thank you. I see Peter and Scott there. Robin's with us. So wonderful. We've got folks coming in to the chat room. So, for those of you who probably don't know, which all of you do, NAMM happened a couple of weeks ago, a National Association of Musical Merchants or something to that effect. It's basically a trade show for the dealers, the Ben Stows, the IDJ Nows, the companies such as that, where they are out there making deals and bringing us the new gear, seeing it for the first time in many cases, giving feedback on the gear before we get to that time. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for joining us on the big channel tonight. So this is a big event. A lot of people are there. Thousands of people are there. Thousands of booths. It's an interesting event. And if you've, again, followed the different things, we talked about that quite a bit. So what I want to do, and I don't know why that's not showing me. Hang on. This shot doesn't have my audio. There we go. There we go. Now I've got the audio on that shot. I've got to make sure, we have enough audio on that shot. So that way, everything will be happy once we get going. There we go. I think we're good. Okay, so what I've done is I've got all these photos in my Dropbox, and I'm going to flip over and just do this. So it's nothing fancy. It's going to be a little bit rough, but it should give you an idea of the different things. And yes, it's like watching a home movie. That's exactly what you tuned in for, is you wanted to watch a home movie of my trip to Anaheim. Except there should be some things of interest here. Hopefully. Hey, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. We are at NAMM 2018. Well, it's the day before NAMM. This is the day where we're going to be able to look at a little press stuff, but tomorrow is the big day on Thursday. So we'll be bringing you some live footage. We'll be bringing you some videos that we shoot on the floor, some little quick hitters. That'll be all happening in the Anaheim Convention Center right back there. This building goes on, and it goes over past, you see the Hilton over here? Where's the Hilton? Right there's a Hilton. Four
floors,
go back
actually.
to that way. There's just a lot of stuff here. A lot of booths, a lot of new gear that we've been talking about a little bit, and you're going to be able to hear about more of it tomorrow. Some of our videos tonight will actually start to feature some of that gear. So, yeah, just check us out at youtube.com/discjockeynews. That'll get you to our YouTube channel and our specific page. And we'll continue on. But yeah, the NAMM show is a huge event, huge industry event. This is where a lot of the dealers or manufacturers are there. Then there are many companies that want to become manufacturers or distributors or what have you in the United States. Specifically, this year there were every year there's a lot of Chinese companies. But it was interesting. You did not have some of the other country companies there as you would in the past. Now, they might have been in the instrument area, and I didn't see them as much. I basically kind of hung out in the DJ area, then went down into the lower level where there is sections that are dedicated to the Chinese companies. But at different trade shows I go to, there will be the Chinese area, then there will be the Israel area, then there will be the Korean area, and there will be the Hong Kong and different things, Taiwan area. Not so much this year. I mean, not that they've had other countries there. You've seen representation, but you didn't see any of that this year, which was kind of an interesting take. So, let's continue on here. What was kind of cool, you see that balcony. Can you see there you go. You can see my mouse right up there above where it says Anaheim Convention Center. Now, when Jeremy, who's right here, there's Jeremy, the first morning, Thursday morning, that's where you two, Jeremy and Jerry were in line and getting ready to go in. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the guys pop out of one of the doors out there, and then they do a little impromptu concert. Now, this particular year, we were probably, as the crow flies, we were only about a quarter mile away. But because you got to zigzag and such, maybe we were, a third of a mile walk away, what have you. So Lori and I were behind them. We didn't get to see them because by the time we got through the little walkways and through the crowd and such to get there, it was about 5 after 10. So we missed seeing the guys up on the deck there. And there we were, just getting ready to get in there. So one of the first things we saw, of course, was the Bose, the S1
Hey,
Pro.
we've been checking out some stuff here at NAMM, and this is something we've been talking about on our shows the last couple of nights from Bose, the S1 Pro. This little guy is going to be something you're going to want to check out for a variety of different applications. The S1 Pro has got 3 2.25-inch drivers that are articulating in the front there, and we can kind of see, there they are, right there. We can kind of see them as the light blend up. And it has a 6-inch driver behind those 3, so you're going to have some power there. It has different setups and such. On the back, it has a couple of different inputs, so you're going to turn it there. Thank you. We've got some different things we can do there with mics, and we can run instruments into this. If we want to line and such, it's all there. We'll be doing more in-depth videos on this, but this is the first look at this. This is the Bose S1 Pro here. We're at NAMM 2018.
So the report from people who got to listen to this and to play with it a little bit is that you're getting a very good sound. If you've got any of the Bose Bluetooth speakers in your house and such, they do sound, most of them sound really, really good. Some of them sound okay. The smaller ones don't sound quite as good, but the ones that I've used, that we have, sound very nice. This has got a good quality sound. Really, the question is going to become is what applications that this is going to work for. If I were playing guitar and doing a little singing, and I was doing this in a coffee house, yeah, this is going to be a great option. Ceremony, possibly. I just don't know if it's going to have enough to carry around a ceremony, because they're talking, I believe the max SPL on this was a little over 100, 104, 326, somewhere in that ballpark. Granted, that's a big range in volume, but it didn't have a ton of volume. It doesn't need it, though. It's going to give you that dispersion because of the way they have the guides and such in there. So it's one of those speakers that it's going to fit specific applications, and if your application is right for that, you're going to be very, very happy. If you're going to ask this to try to do something it can't do, and one of the things I try to do in a lot of the videos I do is to kind of explain what I think it can do, because this won't do a high school dance. I mean, we all can kind of see that. This isn't going to do a 200-person wedding. This isn't going to do a lot of things, but it could become a backup for the time that you need a speaker in a second room and you need to have a little sound. I don't know for sure. Until I get to play with it, it's intriguing, though. It definitely is intriguing. I want to just share a picture of this. This was kind of cool. They had some hand-painted guitars there. If you're an instrument nut, whether it's piano, guitar, percussion, brass, woodwinds, anything out there, if you build your own, this is a great spot to be, because they have a section just for guitar, for people building the guitars. And you can buy the wood blanks, and you can buy the different things for the stock, and you can buy every component and make your own personalized guitar. It's very cool. I'm not that gifted and talented. I can build a house. I couldn't build or do that. Okay, LD Systems came out with this. This is there were a few new line arrays that were out. LD Systems had 2 of them. They had the 900, the P900, which was Porsche designed. So basically, the Porsche people kind of designed the look, and then the LD Systems put the gear inside it. So It isn't that the components inside are Porsche components. Those are LD systems, and they still sound very good when they were doing some demo with this. But it's just a unique look, and they have them in white, black, and gray maybe, and they can do custom colors. Now, the custom color thing, you almost have to order the sound system for the event, which sounds like it's going to be huge money. But for the right person who has the right client, who has the right situation, this could be really cool because, excuse me, I could have a bride who wants her wedding in turquoise, and we could get that in turquoise, and the fabric would be turquoise, and it would match everything she wanted, and it could be the ultimate speaker for that. But for the average DJ, probably not a great option. They announced a Curve, I believe the Curve 500 also, and we have a video on that'll be going up on that. And that particular unit is made more for the mobile DJ. Price point was in a good spot. I don't remember if it was a 12 or 1500, but it's designed to handle one on each side, as far as the sub and the top, can handle a 250-person wedding without breaking a sweat. So they've got some stuff out there, and the price point was, oh goodness gracious, this was something with NAMM this year, that there were line arrays that can do some stuff at a lower price point. So that was kind of interesting. No, I don't want to go that one. I want to go this one. Let's see, what were we talking about here?
So here's a quick pro tip. If you're ever coming to NAMM, there's the badge pickup over there.
So yeah, there's a long line for the badge pickup. And this year, here I was being a smart guy when I did this video. This was the line for the badge pickup. I'm going to scroll ahead, and we're way out by the Hilton. And that line continued all the way. Oh, it's not going to scroll very well. Anyway, that line was hundreds of people long. Then you get up by the building, and because of the increased security, they had metal detectors at every door. So you went in, just like going to a sporting event. You got to walk through the metal detector. So you go in, there's 2 lanes. You go left to right, put your stuff on the table, and walk through, and beep, beep, beep. Oh, let's wand you a little bit. The most interesting thing is the gal ahead of us had, it was great big shells, basically shell casings from something that they would use on they were like 5 inches long, 5-6 inches long, and she had a belt of those all the way around her. And oh my gosh, did the security guys, when they saw that, they kind of freaked out a little bit, because she's wearing basically ammo, the kind of ammo that they would be using in some guns that you would see in like a World War II movie where they were loading them into the airplanes. That's what she was wearing around her waist. They were all dead, I guess, or as far as they were empty, but it looked pretty intimidating, and of course security got pretty excited about that. I don't know why that one was here. Just another shot as you're walking up, and you start to see the crowds. Oops, I must have skipped. Okay.
So we're walking around. This is the Anaheim Convention Center ACC North Hall. This is where a lot of the companies, the audio are. Now, typically when we would walk through this area of the old situation, you would not be able to hear it. There's no microphones. This is just the cell phone. The energy, it's different. We're only an hour into NAMM, but there's just a different energy in this room. It feels much more like just a convention hall, so it's kind of weird. We'll be giving you guys more updates. We're headed downstairs to go get some gear videos going, but this new edition, I don't know how excited I am about this right now. Anyway, more information to come.
It never really had the same energy in that. Overall, I don't think NAMM had the same energy as it had in the past. Partially, I think because they divided things up better, so the musicians didn't have to be intermingling with the DJs, and the DJs and those crew, had their thing. You had the sound companies that were upstairs, so you didn't have as much noise going on. They were monitoring the noise a lot more, so it was loud in the instrument areas. You get in the percussion area in there, bang, 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 bang. You get your brass you were going in there, whatever. It just didn't have that same. And at the ACC, the Anaheim Convention Center North Hall, that new hall, really had that feel of a Midwest convention hall, where you go in there and it's just nice and everyone's so friendly and mannerly, and you didn't have this. And most of the people were dressed properly. You didn't have too much falling out because they were in the instrumentation area. So it was just a different feel, a definitely different feel this year. Rain, of course, had the 12 and the 72. And this was the first time that it was actually out where people could touch it, and they were encouraging people to come up and do some things with that. But they were able to play and do that, and they had this in the walkway going from the old building, in essence we'll call that, to the old hall. You could go walk through this, through the walkway and go taking the walkway between the two. Okay, just want to. Okay, just wanted to get. They did not do cavity searches. Goodness gracious, you kids. So ADJ had a really big, beautiful booth. They actually had a couple of different booth spaces. This was the main one, and then over to the left. And I don't remember if I panned to the left on this particular video.
Just a quick little glance here at the ADJ booth here at NAMM 2018. Once again, you will notice I'm able to talk to you without having to put in a secondary microphone. It's just not quite as loud. Hey, and I'm not complaining. I'm actually enjoying this. I don't have to scream at you. We've got two booths, one over there and one back here.
Now I want to stop it for a second. Now, in the middle area here, and if you can see where my mouse is, they had a couple of different moving head fixtures in here, and I'm just going to focus on a couple. They had the new Pocket Pros, which of course are the ones that came out. They're very small. I've actually got a couple here that I've been doing some things with. Nice little light, very bright, very a quick little light for doing a moving head fixture for doing a lot of things. But what you're seeing, I believe right now, I think these were all the Pocket Z4s, which are maybe 2 years old. But those Pocket ones are just those Z4s, which are basically four LEDs. They're quad LED, I believe they're quad, and they have the ability to zoom in and such, so you get a wash or you get more of a spot. They incorporated that into the light show, and they did a wonderful job. First off, that between the panels and the bottom here, and then they had the Z4s, and then they had some more traditional Parcan looking lights that are there for kind of a flash effect, and I don't know if we'll see that in the video.
Video panels down there.
But
we'll get a recording of the light show a little bit later and give you guys an idea of what that looks like. We're at NAMM 2018.
And they were still utilizing those very heavily in the booth. So I'm thinking we're going to see a variation of this booth at Mobile Beat Las Vegas, because the ADJ is doing the light show for this year's booth. Okay, I don't remember what this one is, so we're going to find out together.
So here we are at the ADJ booth. This is the
Okay, so this is the beginning of the light show. So you can see that they've got some of their video panels and such all set up today. And this is one area that big blind video.
The new blinder lights, right? Where are they? Right in there.
Oh yeah, there's blinder lights in there. They're really big cams. And of course, these are all Instagram videos, so that's why they're a little bit shorter. Lori shot the whole booth show, which we'll be making that go live here later this week. But that wide screen, I think I've got a video or a clip from the Electro Voice room. Electro Voice used that in a very good way with that wide screen, where they were able to convey a message and such. ADJ was demonstrating some of their ability to use that for decor, which was really cool. But it would be nice to, I think everyone should be able to take a note or two from what Electro Voice did this year, because they just really knocked it out of the park, as I've said before. Sony, what I wanted to show this is for those of you who are doing some recording, and maybe this has been out and I've just been living in a box, but a dual channel. So this little wireless receiver can handle two different white microphones, get those locked in digitally, and then you can also have an interviewer microphone. So this particular mic is plugged in, I think it's like the 1/8-inch jack, whatever it is. But that way, there can be a microphone on the person who's running the camera, and then you can have two handheld microphone or wireless mics out there somewhere, or lapel mics, and to be able to cover all of the bases and really have a three-person conversation. These are the new Sony cameras that they were really touting, because the ones we use are an FDR, I think 33, which is like the high-end consumer one that was out at that time. But they were talking about that the one that the guy was recommending that we should look at is the Z90, but there's some things on the Z90 that we just don't need. The NX80 was the one that I think is the one that DJ would want to look at. Deck Saver with their plastic covers. We've got the plastic covers on some of our boards over there. It's kind of a cool thing. Let's see, what was this one?
So check this out. We are at NAMM 2018, and right now we're at the Color Key booth. We talked about the Color Key lights. They've got, of course, the Mobile Power Quad 4. They've got some really cool uplights at a great price. I wanted to show you this. This is something I haven't seen before. It is a combo uplight. You've got some decor light effect with this, with a little bit of a front panel. And then take a look at this. This is an adjustable uplight lens that you can adjust and shine this up a wall or at an angle. This little box right here will definitely,
like a mirror ball or something, but it needs to be brighter. It was just a little prototype. Again, that's one of the pieces when we talked about things that we saw that are never going to make it to market. That's one of them. That idea is neat, but the realistic part of it is that secondary light wasn't bright enough, and it's only a glow part. So they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and make that uplight version brighter, maybe do some things with it, and then they'll, yeah, they're spilling a drink on a deck saver again. Let's see, what do we have here?
All right, you guys have been asking.
We talked about this video. This is the Magma case that holds the DJ to go. I've done that. This was kind of a cool lighting effect that people were actually talking about after LDI.
Check this out. This is from German Light Products, GLP. These are some large fans that give you a completely different.
Gives you kind of an industrial look in your set. For a DJ who wanted to have a unique look, had this look for a season, this could definitely, they're not cheap. GLP is not a cheap company when it comes to some of their things. They're good quality steer, good quality gear, but not so much. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Billboard and Blaupunkt.
Gang, I want to show you this. We're at the Blaupunkt and Billboard booth here. I wanted to show you some of the speakers. I wanted to see lights in there.
And this was actually up in the main room, which is kind of surprising. That this kind of a booth would have typically been downstairs, but this year it was in the main room. I went over to ProX and did some shots there. The Pioneer booth, I wanted to get a couple of shots there because again, NAMM, the gear is out. The positive thing is DJs can go and play and touch some of the gear that are there. The negative thing is that the manufacturers are wanting to talk to the distributors and the owners and different things. So when we're in the way, they can't be cutting a deal with a Ben Stowe or making deals with the people because they're dealing with us. So it's the good and the bad. I mean, yes, they can get some publicity from people like myself who are there, but then if there's too many of us there, they can't do the job that they need to do. So this was a shot of the EV. I wanted to get a shot of all the speakers and such. And right up above was the screen that was basically the width of the room. So it was a very wide, it was kind of tall, but it was really, I think they had two like 10,000 lumen projectors probably at that level that created this screen. And they had a light show that was up and above, and it was all tied in to give you a really, so there we go. There's the
designed to deliver an uncompromising combination of lightweight, low-profile looks and superior electro-boost sound quality. The Vault 50 sets a new performance standard for powered column systems.
And I don't know if I have that other video. Oh, I guess I probably don't have it on this, so I must have shot it and did something else with it. But it was really kind of cool. When they were running the Evolve 50s in there, Mike Dussault was making some announcements and such, and we recorded that. And then he talked a little bit about, he was talking about what's coming up, and all of the music that he was talking over and his mic were all coming through the Evolve at the same time. For those of us who like to have a hot microphone, yeah, it was a great demonstration of that. One of the big things from Mackie was in-ear monitors. In-ear monitors were really big across the board, and Mackie put out some new versions of their in-ear monitors here, and they were really kind of pushing those at the show. Here's one of the things you haven't seen yet. This is from the Avante booth. You are looking at a prototype of their new line array system that they're going to be coming out with. This particular line array system has the ability, you can see the little bracket down here, that it can be flown or it can be used in a traditional DJ setup. It will have a little kind of the line array itself will actually be componentized or compartmentalized. It'll be in components. So you can have 2, you could have 3, you could have 4. You can basically tweak it to make it whatever you want. So you can, we could double up the subs. You could have 4 tops and such on one side, and to be able to get that throw and to get that that extra horsepower you need for your events. Now, they did place music through this, and this sounded, when at a certain volume, it sounded really, really good. But the problem with this one, and why it's a prototype and such, and why we didn't do any video on it that you could hear, is that when you're putting things together, sometimes components don't fit completely together properly. It sounded really good at this volume level. As you started to push it, what ends up happening with this is that the tweeter, the horns that are in the tops, actually would take off from the mid-range. So all of a sudden it was like really nice and balanced, and then it seems like the vocals and things were just coming out stronger, and it was kind of leaving some of that because of the way it's designed and the number of tweeters and such. So they're going to go and are going to be doing some tweaking and replacing of the tweeters, putting it different, and they're wanting to put a kind of a little bit wider dispersion tweeter in. And it gave you a great wide dispersion already, but they're going to do a few more tweaks with it. I was really impressed with the sound quality that we're getting out of it at that specific volume. Now, if they're going to be tweaking that tweeter and be able to have that same sound volume or sound quality at a higher volume, I'm pretty excited about this. I've listened to the Avante. We did the speaker test. The sound quality with the Avante is very good at a really, really aggressive price point. They get a line array. I'm really kind of excited to see what that's going to sound like. Speaking of line array, this was another one that we couldn't do a video on. These are from the new Evox here. You've got the J Series, the J Mix 8 and such, but the new Evox 8 from RCF. The difference with the Evox 8 now, the J Series, and the old ones is basically these are plastic cabinets. Same components, plastic cabinets compared to wood. That drops the price down. The starting price for these is around $999 is what the map will be on that. Now there's 3 different models. Let's see. We had the 8, the 8W, and there we go. So the J8, I believe, is the one that's going to be coming in at around $1,000, and that has just basically you come in, you plug in, and you've got a little bit of EQing on the back, but that's about it. So you've got your 12-inch woofer on the bottom, you got your 8 2-inch drivers at the top, max SPL of 128. Then you get into some more processing, and they were really the FIR processing. They were really, or the FIR phasing and such, were pushing that. The new ART 712 MK4 that they had was talking about that, and they knew everything they had. Basically, they've really gone through and spent more time matching components and making sure that there's a cohesiveness to their speakers throughout the sound ranges. So you're going to hear that FIR talked about in everything that RCF does. The 8, okay, and then the 8, and then I believe the last one was the mix, and it has a mixer in the back of it. Is really what the big difference would be between the 3, right there. So you can see we've got the mixer. And then there was a little bit of, I believe there's a little different in control, and of course there's white. Now this was PK Audio. This is a Canadian company, and basically this was started by some guys up there who, and this is out of the DJ realm, but it's pretty cool. So that's why you're going to see this. Started by some guys who were doing some touring sound for DJs and such up in Canada, and they were just blowing the gear up. They were just trashing gear for whatever reason. This is their Trinity system, and I've got a couple of different videos. We're going to show some of what happens.
As far as most of this,
watch that line array, and you can see it's curving backwards.
I walk around here.
There's where it starts. There's where it ends. This is a remote-controlled line array that basically you have your trussing, you attach the first one, you lift, you attach the next one, you lift, you detach. 2 guys can basically put up a tower of speakers in very little time. Once they're all up, what's kind of cool about it, and you can adjust and set with their computer program the sound of the room, and it will then adjust the curvature to what is needed. The other neat thing about the Trinity system here is that you can steer the sound. if you watch the right side right here, you can see that it's moving out, and so it's basically they can steer the sound to the middle area. If you had your speakers here, they could steer the sound into the middle and not out to the sides, which is really kind of a cool thing, and it worked incredibly well. You step offline a little bit once you're beyond where they had adjusted it, and you could just, all of a sudden the highs were gone. It was really kind of cool. So this is a software that they've got the big board there that they were adjusting and working with that, and the massive subs that were used with that concert system. Now, line arrays, there were many line arrays, many from companies that I wasn't familiar with, but I wanted to show you this is because a lot of the line arrays are starting to come out with the ability to adjust their angle. That in this particular case, you can pull the pin and you can adjust, you can tip it down or you can bring it back. That was in many. The Avante had that capability. There's going to be many more that you're going to see, but that Axiom was one that kind of showed that capability a little bit. But we're going to see a lot more of that line array capability. This was a company that I think we're going to hear more from. I think their audio, it's in the back. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's Audio Center. This particular one we may not see though, because this one might be picked up exclusively by Guitar Center. I believe it's a dual 12 top, Audio Center. It's a dual 12 top or bottom, and I think that was either a 12-inch or 10-inch top on it. I go up and look at it for just a second. But I was talking to a guy who actually went out and listened to this in a California warehouse, and he said the stuff sounds absolutely incredible. And this particular set of speakers we may not be hearing from unless you go to Guitar Center, but they've got many different cabinets, and they look really good.
So check this out. We are at the Boyd booth that make beautiful speakers built with passion. Because here's what their speaker looks like. There's out. Check that out. There's another one over there.
And there was a really left part.
Pull them up and look at it. Unusual look here.
And that was probably the biggest downside.
Kind of built for the install.
Speakers that were out there, and granted, they're probably more for install, obviously, because that's hardwired. But there were some speakers that's like, I could see someone who wanted to create a unique DJ look getting into something, maybe not like this, but there's variations of this that were there. And what do they have in the back? They've got basically, put the stripped wire in there, tighten up the nut, and it's install cabinets. And it's like, no. Why would you have an install cabinet? Let's back up. Why would you have an install cabinet that can sit on a speaker pole? That just doesn't make any sense to me. If you want it to be an install, don't put it on a speaker pole, because it makes me think that it should be a mobile thing. Granted, that's a mounting plate, but yeah, anyway. It was pretty cool. I took a picture of this because our first DJ company went by the name of Soundforce. So for the first probably 8 to 10 years, people would have Soundforce speakers, and they were calling us to try to get some customer support. And I had no idea that even, this is pre-internet days, no idea that Soundforce was used for anything, because we checked and the name was available. We got it. We did our thing. But they're still out there, and they're putting club and things together. So that was an interesting thing.
Check this out. We're in a JBL booth right now. This is
of course, the JBL Pro 1. This is the new wireless system. As you can see, it can use one of the tops for two. Little battery powered. I think it's an 8-inch in there. That's the JBL from last year. But the new Pro 1, Bluetooth, wireless capability, everything goes in there, folds down, closes up. So you just basically have this one nice little quick and easy box to take around. A really kind of a neat little box. It's going to be intriguing to get to take this and really do something with it, with some more sound volume and such. I like the idea. I like the concept, especially when it's battery powered and wireless. For a ceremony, this could be a great little option. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to open it at first, so we had to go and it's like, okay, how do you do this? It's got to have a trigger here somewhere. And then there we go. I figured it out. So I found out you can pause the video when you're shooting a video on your phone. Sennheiser had some new G4 microphones that were kind of a big thing. But the part that I wanted to show you is that many of the new wireless microphone systems are now doing data connections to each other, which is going to make it so that they can communicate and find open frequencies and get every the different microphones all on a frequency that will work. So that was something that I saw in quite a few of the new systems that are coming out. Gator. I hadn't, and maybe they've had these and I've just been living in a box, and it wouldn't be the first time, but most of the time we're thinking speaker stands are a tripod. Well, Gator has a quad pod. Would that be the way you say it? I think it is. A quad pod. So we've got that, we've got some pictures of that in the TV stand right there. And that's what they're using. This was probably the other line array that was of interest, and why I say that is because we've got a video up that's on the Quake 2.1, and what these were is 4 line array tops on each side. The sub would power them, 1/8-inch jack out to the first one, and then jack, and they were a locking in speak on type connector, Neutrix, I don't know. Anyway, a locking in connector. So once they were in there, they weren't going anywhere. These particular systems, there was some that were 12. The Quake 2.1 was a 12-inch under the tops. This particular one is a 15-inch. But we saw this particular model or series of speakers. I think this was the 8th one that we saw from the 8th different booth. So obviously, some of the companies made these, and they've been copied back and forth. But these were the kind of the hot-looking speakers. The 12-inch, we got to listen to the Quake 2.1. with a 12-inch sub, and it sounded actually really quite good. The price, if you click the link that was in that below the video, I believe that was around $800 is what that system, the speakers and the sub ran. So everything was right there. Would they work for a teen dance? No. Would they work for a wedding? Probably. They have a long throw. They have a good sound. And what's kind of neat about them is that most of them have the ability to add a second passive subwoofer. So you can come out of this, you've got a 12 here, and if you had a second passive 12, you could plug that in and run it all off that one amplifier. I'm not sure if the 15 had that, but a lot of the 12s had that capability. So it's kind of a neat idea. I mean, if you wanted to, you could buy 2 sets of these. So you have a 12, you'd have 2 of the Quake 2.1s, you'd have $1,600 into your system, and then you would have a small rig, and you put them together, and you're going to have a pretty good sized rig. So, I mean, it's a possibility if a person is looking for something like that. A couple more. That was our fun. So, I wanted to just kind of show this Rock and Rolla. They had kind of a unique record player turntable, but these are really kind of record player. The old look of the record player that you had, and when you were listening to albums in the 3rd grade, when a music teacher would come in and they couldn't play their guitar or piano for the day, they'd have that old record player. That's what it was.
So check this out. This is a fan effect.
So some of the Chinese booths, they had a section up in the lighting area where they were showing off some of their things. And this was a little device, and I'll show you the actual part of it in a little bit. But you can upload graphics to it. You can upload animations, video. There's what it is. It's that bar. But it spins, and then it flickers and flashes, and it makes it look like that. When you were watching it live, you're not seeing that black.
What you're seeing is that black,
but on the camera, because of the frames per second, that's what you're seeing is how it turned out. Kind of a neat thing. I think it'd be really cool to have it if you had your DJ, if you could have it like 2 of them in the front of your DJ booth, and have it where words were kind of scrolling across, the DJ John Young kind of thing. That'd be pretty cool. So a change, or a little bit kind of a different thing, if you use bubbles, and I've heard this before, I've never done it myself, but this is a good example. Doing fog bubbles. So you've got basically a
fog bubbles. You're looking at fog bubbles right there.
Or a fogger that is going into the back of your bubble machine, and then your bubble machine is creating fog bubbles, which is kind of a cool little look. So if you're doing bubble things, that might be an option to have a different time. Lori and I were talking about that. We may do that with the parade, because we did the bubblers last year and with our parade float. And if we do a fogger and have it kind of piped in a little bit, so yeah, that might be something we're going to give it a look. Okay. The illuminated.
Okay, so you want to make your.
Were of course something we had a couple of different versions. This one had the full variety of them, which you can see. The mirror kind of looking that endless tunnel look to them on these. I still think at a prom some teenage boy is going to be looking up a girl's skirt. And then they had some weird kind of reacting to the weight on them, the pressure sensitive ones. Dance floor panels, depending upon how much you're willing to spend, some of these panels were $30, some of them were $40, some of these $50. If you're really thinking about LED dance floor panels, you can find them. I thought they were much more difficult to buy than they are. They're out there, and they're not too difficult. Let's see. I think this is DAS. They had a big, let's see. I think this is DAS. They had a big thing they were doing. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's theirs. They were doing this big press thing, and they were trying to get everybody excited to, hey, we're going to do this thing, and try and get people around. Part of the marketing companies that the manufacturers hire, what their job is to try to get some excitement in the booth and try to get people like myself there to cover press announcements. It doesn't matter which industry. I get the same thing from John Deere in the tractor when I'm doing the tractor shows. I'm getting it from Makita and DeWalt and these companies when I'm doing the tool shows. That's just the way these companies work. So they're paid big money to get people like me there, and you get there, and there might be 5 of us. Sometimes there's more. Sometimes there's like next to nobody. I've been to both of them. But this was the line array that they were touting there. We took a couple of pictures of it. We didn't get to hear it, but it was one of their new things here, trying to have it so that they're somewhat waterproof, which is what's the concert line arrays was another thing that was being talked about. And they had the quick attach and detach, which was kind of a neat little thing. So that's for the folks who wanted to look into that. I'm just going to switch over here. There's a couple more things I wanted to show here, if I have those up. Let's see. Did this load? I want to get into this video here a little bit. We've got a couple of YouTube videos I wanted to show you. Just a screenshot from. We haven't finished these videos yet, but I wanted to show you. From Chauvet DJ, the H1 is their new pin spot, the replacement for their Easy Pin. And what this little guy is it's a hex fixture. You can take this bracket off right here, and it becomes basically a single, but a Freedom light that is wireless technology, so it can be battery, it's battery powered, wireless. You can set those around the room. As I mentioned on a few videos, I would be worried about somebody sticking that in their pocket, but you can get the pack of them. I think this is going to be something that for uplighting, a lot of people are going to want to look at, because cords are pain. This is definitely something. Now, taking this, they came out with they're going to be coming out with a new Freedom light that's a full-size one that will have a battery in a back area, like right about in here. There's a battery pack you can snap out and put it in the charger. When you're done, you can snap that in. So if you get a situation where the battery's running low on one of them, you forgot to charge it, all you have to do is have some spare batteries, snap them in, and off you go. Great idea, and that's something that we're going to be seeing more of. And then Chauvet also had their Slim Par. They had the bar and different things that are Bluetooth. Now they have the ability to control these and these things are the H1, the little pin spot. That's available, or that's going to be available here shortly. The Slim Par and the battery powered thing, they couldn't go on video because that's going to be later in the year. Probably not going to hear about these until maybe June. But the Bluetooth capability in these lights allows you to control these uplights and such with your tablet or your mobile device of whatever your preference is. You can there's a flood, I believe there's a 9 and a 12, and then of course you've got the bar. Those are all Bluetooth controllable, which is kind of a cool thing if you are not into DMX or you're just wanting to get into the lights and you want to get something that's simple that you can control with your phone, make it quick and easy, so you don't have a ton of wires running and such. Definitely something that I would check out if you're going to be looking into that, because not all of us like to play with DMX. Some of it's really kind of confusing. So anyway, that's about all I have. Let's see. I don't think there's anything too terribly much. So I think the Evolve 50s are not heavy. They're solid. They feel solid, but they're not a heavy fixture or a heavy device whatsoever. Oh, it's interesting. It drops my volume down. I suppose it does that because that's catching the audio signal where it's not coming through the board. I suppose if I ran it out to the board and then back in, we wouldn't have the sound issues. So, just trying to see. Big Mac had a question here. Just upgraded to the ZLX12s. They run an XLR from my Denon to my first sub, then to the top cabs. Most of the time, they recommend going to the subs and then up to the top cabinets. I'm not sure if the Denon 4000 has the ability to go and switch the outputs to a mono output. I think I run mono on virtually every board that I have. I don't know if I can do it with the Newmark here, but the Newmark's been basically used for practice around here. It hasn't hit the road. I just go mono because I'm not the guy who wants to have the AC/DC when you're playing You Shook Me All Night Long, where you've got some sound over here and some sound over here, so the dancers aren't hearing the vocals and vice versa. They're not hearing the music. So I just go mono with my stuff. And then I go into the sub and then sub to the tops. Most subs have 2 ins and 2 outs, so run them both in and go to your tops and go there. So I did not see a review. I saw somebody, you mentioned, I think you mentioned it and such, but I did not. I saw the wall that had them all in, but there were generally like 5 or 6 people in there, and it was really, their booth was kind of changing their angles and such. They were really trying to cater to the bedroom DJ is the best way I could describe it. I think that's where Hercules is trying to go, is to, hey, I want to learn how to be a DJ kind of a thing. In which some of their gear fits that. Some of it is kind of a little more advanced than what a beginning DJ would use. So I didn't get a chance to dig into it beyond that. So yeah, Howie does that. Yeah, I've got a Hercules board right below me here, and it's my biggest complaint with that Hercules board is it doesn't have XLR out. If it had XLR out, it would be a perfect little board. It's like, why don't they do that? So anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here because we're going to be back here in a few more minutes at the top of the hour with Shani and Dan and Jared and myself. And Shani was at the Super Bowl last night, and she's going to give us kind of a report of what it was like there compared to what we saw online. So thank you, everyone, for being with me, and we'll be back. Go out there to youtube.com/discjockeynews, and you will get our next live show link in just a few minutes when it starts up live. Thanks again.
Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insider.